Now, two pairs that haven't really seen much movement over the last few days despite the major news we've seen is gold and Bitcoin. And if we start off with gold here on the 4 hour time frame, we've had that break of structure in towards the downside, and we have the current swing range that we are trading within. Now, as we were speaking about last week, after this internal break of structure here, we are anticipating some lower prices, but we did see that in not intervention, we've seen some strength come into the dollar with some bad data or some weaker than expected data, and therefore we would expect to see some higher prices, but again, we haven't quite seen that. If we go down onto the 1 hour time frame, we are technically still swing bullish. We've had the 1 hour break of structure here, we have our swing low and we have our swing high. However, if we zoom in, we've got this internal trend that's been pushing price down. Even this, if we now see some lower prices again, it could be that we are ready to target this low. For me personally, if we do break this demand zone that is currently in control with a break and a close below, I will potentially look for a nice short down to start targeting this level here. I do feel like we're more than likely to come down here before the FOMC news, and because we haven't seen as much bullish momentum come into gold as we have as in Euro USD or GBP USD, for me that still shows signs of weakness in gold, and it could be that we want to see one more drive down lower before we start looking for any potential upside. So that's my point of view, although just bear in mind that we could just keep, at the end of the day, this is a demand zone. We could push out of it, got another demand zone here, and just keep pushing with the demand zone, and that's something that I will monitor. But for me personally, as long as this high remains intact, I am looking for shorts. Now, finally, onto Bitcoin, we've got the daily break of structure here. We have our swing high and we have our swing low. We've been saying that this obviously is a clear point of a liquidity that we could target. And if nothing happens from that level, we could be looking at these two open points of liquidity up here. However, though, if we do go down onto the 4 hour time frame, it could be that we might see one more drive in towards the downside first before we see any more upside. We've had another break of structure here on the 4 hour and towards the downside, and this is the current swing range that we are trading within. Now, we liquidated all of the major points of liquidity that are in the drive down over here, but we haven't yet broke the demand zone that is in control. Although if we were to go down onto the lower time frame, we would see that supply is in control, pushing price with this little internal trend. But at the end of the day, for me, this demand zone is still in control. I'd want to see a clear break and close below